Some families ask themselves, is it worth the while getting involved in the NDIS? And I would say absolutely yes. Having a child with a disability can be expensive, particularly when it comes to the interventions that they need to reach their potential. The NDIS can step in and take away that financial burden for your family so that you can give your child the best opportunity, the best start in life.
It is a big, unwieldy, complicated, hard to understand system, and I understand why people would be hesitant about that. But I would encourage you just to go on in, have the meeting, start somewhere and find out all about it. Talk to other parents, talk to service providers, and eventually you will know what it's all about and how to get the best for your child.
It's actually just a funding scheme, similar to Medicare. So whereas Medicare funds health-related supports, NDIS funds disability-related supports.
Having the NDIS has really changed our life. We made the family decision for me to stop work to put Hugo through intensive early intervention. So the NDIS plugged that gap of my wage, which was paying for all the interventions beforehand, to really assist us to get him what he needed while I could still be there for him and take him to those appointments.
One of the things that I learned really early on in my NDIS journey is that it is a whole new world with a whole new language. There's going to be a whole bunch of acronyms that you're going to have to become familiar with, a whole bunch of different concepts around funding and funding buckets. Don't worry, because there is some really great resources available to kind of simplify some of that language. And probably the first place I would go to if I was coming to grips with the NDIS again is I'd go to the participant booklets on the NDIS website.
The NDIS has opened up so many opportunities for our family. There's challenges with every new system, and I get that it's a really hard process for a lot of people, but I would say get support if you need it, and definitely it's worth, going down the path and going through the process of getting a plan.
I just need to create, goals, just looking at where they are right now, recognising they're going to change and changing the plans and the support and resources with it. My first NDIS plan, I had 3 big folders, I had 3 meetings all in the one day, and I'd spent hours and hours on it. And someone come in and actually look at it before I went to the meeting. It was the day before, and she said, well, where are you in this, Mel? And I said, oh, no, it's not about me, it's about the kids. And she said, but if you spontaneously combust, what will happen? I said, oh, well, then it'd be horrific. And she said, there you go, it is about you too. And every year now I still write a carer statement, and it's probably one of the most important things because I'm allowed to talk about my own hopes and dreams.
Once you've got a plan, the next question you'll probably be asking yourself is, what can we do with this funding? And really that depends on the goals and what it is that you want to achieve for your child. My daughter Nikki was an NDIS participant for 4 years, from the age of 9 to the age of 13. And we had a really phenomenal experience with the NDIS. I mean, it was truly life-changing for us. And I attribute our success to 3 things. Firstly, our capacity to negotiate for a really, really good plan. So we spent a lot of time preparing for Nikki's planning meetings. The second reason why I reckon we had such a successful experience was because we really understood the rules of the NDIS, and we pushed against those rules to maximise the flexibility of Nikki's funding. And then thirdly, I attribute our success to having very contemporary expectations of what it's like to live with a disability in Australia in 2021 and beyond. We had very high expectations of the providers that we worked with, and we had very high expectations for Nikki and us as a family to live a really outstanding life.
There's a lot of red tape, a lot of trying to organise things and planning things and a lot of appointments, but once you get it and once you're into the system, life becomes so much easier. If you need to go and speak to someone, a speech therapist, an OT, whatever it happens to be that you need to talk to, you can, and you can do it straight away. There's no delaying, there's no waiting for referrals, there's no messing around. You can just get it done.
There are certain things about the NDIS that you can't change. It is a pain in the neck. It is kind of complex, but you need to throw yourself into it, have the serenity to accept that. There are things that you can change. There's things that you can fight for with the NDIS and negotiate with planners for. You need to have the courage to do that. And then you also, of course, need to understand what you can change and what you can't change.
To anyone out there saying, oh, should I go on the NDIS? Absolutely. And you don't have to get the best plan in the world for the first one, because you've got to learn to navigate it and what works for your child or adult as an adult. But after that, as you learn about it more, the endless opportunities are amazing.
The NDIS is worth it.
I think about where we would have been if the NDIS wasn't here, and I think, we wouldn't be, my son would not be where he is. I 100% believe that.
Yes, the battles are big and a pain in the ass to get to the NDIS, but once you're in, it's amazing. It's an amazing system.